Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here. I'm getting a lot of questions lately due to other YouTube channels putting out different information on whether it is okay or if it's ideal to lock out or to not lock out on a lot of your lifts. And the reality is, both groups are right. It depends on the situation. So I'm going to break that down a little more for you guys. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. Okay, part of this comes down to whether you are training for strength or power versus training purely for hypertrophy and metabolic fatigue when you're doing a lift. Now, obviously, if you're doing things like heavy benching, heavy squatting, heavy deadlifting, things like that, you're going to want to lock out and do the full range of motion on the lift. And the problem you'll run into, even though we could argue about continual tension on the pecs, for example, by not locking out the bench press, you're also training yourself to decelerate at the top and you're going to lose strength and power. You're going to reduce your explosiveness accordingly. So what I would say you need to do is do different lifts for this. And for mostly on your barbell bench press, make sure that you're locking out on most of your sets. And if you need more pec development, keep the scapula retracted correctly. But if you feel that your chest is starting to lag or you want to add another lift in for your chest, then throw in a lift that does focus heavier on the bottom of the movement, the stretch, something like a dumbbell press, a flat, incline, whatever. But dumbbell press is for your chest where you can stretch at the bottom and then skip the lockout so that your dumbbell press looks something like this. And particularly with your higher rep sets, so you can keep continual tension on a muscle, get a deep stretch on it, but still keep that tension and go ahead and get metabolic fatigue while doing higher reps. And then for your heavy bench pressing, you're going to want to lock out. And so that's really kind of how you need to do it. You need to look at what are you trying to do, and are there any negatives to your performance by skipping the lockout, such as losing power on a bench press by doing it. And then look at your more accessory type movements, your movements that you're going to tend to do higher reps on, that you're trying to get metabolic fatigue and a stretch and a pump in that muscle, and that's the ones you might want to just skip and do those partial reps to where you're skipping the lockout. And you'll see the same thing on lifts to where if it's dangerous to go through the full range of motion, such as something like a shoulder press with dumbbells, most people cannot safely do the bottom of the movement like you can with a barbell. And so you'll see a lot of guys do that. You'll see a lot of big bodybuilders, even pro bodybuilders doing that. They'll do like what I would call a 3/5 rep, to where they skip the bottom fifth and they skip the top fifth and just do the 3/5 in the middle, just to get a pump and keep continual tension there. So again, it comes down to what are you trying to achieve and what lift are you doing. But I will say that for most of your heavy work in your big core movements, you're going to want to do the full range of motion as often as possible unless you have a reason not to. And then if you're bodybuilding for accessory work, you can skip those lockouts. But if you're a strength athlete, you might want to be leery of skipping those lockouts, even on accessory work. Alright guys, so I hope that clarified a few points and it helped people to understand that actually both schools of thought are right. They both have their place. And it comes down to specifically what the individual is trying to achieve with a given lift. So I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you next time.